Baba Yaga's lair, a Russian horror. Late one frigid night, deep in the remote forests of Russia, Alex drove cautiously down a narrow, winding path that seemed to disappear into the darkness. The temperature had plummeted, and the car's heater struggled to keep the chill at bay. The moonlight barely penetrated the dense canopy above, casting eerie shadows that danced along the snow-covered ground. The forest was unnaturally silent, save for the occasional crunch of frost under the car's tires and the distant hoot of an owl. The road ahead seemed endless, winding deeper into the heart of the forest. Suddenly, a low, guttural chant echoed through the stillness, its source impossible to determine. The sound was faint at first, barely audible over the hum of the engine, but it grew louder, more menacing. Alex's pulse quickened as he glanced nervously in the rearview mirror, but the darkness revealed nothing. His breath came in shallow bursts. The chant continued, a sinister incantation that filled the night air. Alex recalled the chilling tales of Baba Yaga, a malevolent witch from Russian folklore. According to legend, Baba Yaga lived in a hut that stood on chicken legs, and she was known for her sinister magic and her hunger for human flesh. The closer you were to her, the more you would hear her eerie chant, a sign that her presence was near. The chant grew more intense, its sinister tone echoing through the forest and amplifying Alex's fear. He gripped the steering wheel tightly, trying to steady his nerves. He tried to rationalize the sound, attributing it to the wind or an animal, but the chant was unmistakably human, resonating with a dark, malevolent energy. Suddenly, the chant stopped abruptly, plunging the forest into a suffocating silence. Alex rolled up the windows, attempting to block out the oppressive quiet. His eyes darted around, searching for any sign of the source of the sound. The darkness was impenetrable. His heart raced as he recalled the warnings: if you heard Baba Yaga's chant, you were in grave danger. The tales spoke of her ability to ensnare those who ventured too close to her lair, using her dark magic to lure them to their doom. Then, through the thick fog and trees, he saw it. The outline of a grotesque, towering structure emerged from the mist, a hut perched on enormous chicken legs, turning slowly as if it were alive. The sight was both horrifying and mesmerizing, a nightmarish vision of the witch's lair. Alex slowed the car, his eyes wide with fear. The hut was grotesque, its walls covered in dark, twisted symbols that seemed to writhe and shift in the moonlight. The chicken legs moved with a sickening, rhythmic motion, as if the hut were alive and conscious. The air was filled with a foul stench, a mixture of rot and decay that seemed to emanate from the structure itself. His chest tightened with dread as he tried to turn away, but it felt as if the car was being drawn toward the hut by an unseen force. The chant returned, louder and more insistent, filling the air with a sense of impending doom. Alex's breath came in ragged gasps, his mind racing with the terrifying stories of Baba Yaga and her insatiable hunger for those who dared to enter her domain. The chant reached a deafening crescendo, the dark magic palpable in the cold, oppressive air. Alex's eyes were fixed on the hut, which now stood directly in front of the car, its chicken legs scratching and turning with a disturbing, hypnotic rhythm. The stench grew overpowering, making it hard to breathe and causing his vision to blur.